everybody. It is Friday, July 28th, 2017. This is episode 99. Monday is going to be 100 for us. And I'm like, I kind of want to just pause for a moment and acknowledge that Monday we're going to have three numbers in the episodes, Nick. But at the same time, there's a lot of stuff I want to get to, but I just want to, just remember for a moment that we have 99 problems, but you're all of them.
I'm pretty sure that's not true.
No,
I feel like
very
you're
true.
all the problems.
No, 99 problems, but a John ain't one.
Get any sense at all.
That is the worst possible advertisement for a hooker ever, by the way.
There's so much wrong in that.
Well, see,
That
see
might
like,
be
we mentioned it
the
today how
worst.
there's been so much wrong this past week anyway. But all jokes aside, we had some terrible news today. I saw a notification from the BBC. Charlie Gard, the 11-month-old baby in England, who was possibly going to be getting some kind of treatment for his problems, he's passed away. So I just, I realize that his parents are never going to hear me say this, and it's not going to matter that I'm saying it. But I do want to say that out of everything bad that's going on, I feel like this little boy, this little boy who was born with possibly no chance at ever living, managed to bring everyone together for a moment and realize, hey, there are things more important than all of the hateful shit that's been going on in the world. And I just want to say to his parents, I am so sorry for your loss. I mean, it's genuinely a terrible thing that's happened. Uh, but I hope that his death means something to everyone around him, and we can all find better solutions to our problems.
It, it's always really hard when a parent has a child with a terminally short or disease. I don't know if there's anything worse that can happen to someone, honestly.
There isn't, and see, like I'm I'm not a parent, okay, but I will freely admit that no parent should ever have to bury their child, and it's it's very sad that that Charlie wouldn't have even had a life. I mean, every doctor that checked him out said there was no hope of saving him. An American doctor decided to say, "Okay, I'll give it a shot." Looked into it, kept checking up on the MRIs, and there's nothing that can be done. And it's genuinely terrible that for 11 months, almost a year, that this little boy was kept alive solely by machines while there had to be a legal battle over the right to die. And that's that's what tears me apart over this is it was the parents not wanting to let their kid die. And I understand that. I can empathize with that and I appreciate that they're wanting to do whatever possible to save their kid. But at the same time, I kind of have to agree with the British government. You should have the right to die. Like if you're going to die, now and I realize we're talking about an 11-month-old baby who, is obviously not capable of saying, "Hey, motherfucker, let me live." But like, think about it in the instance of I don't know, like my mom, let's say my mom or you or me, someone we know who's going to die, and there's no point in even trying because the inevitable's going to happen. I say let them go, just let everything happen normally, and it's fine. But some people don't want to do that, and like that's the other part about this that bothers me is that for all of the positivity that came out of this story being such an incredibly public thing, there was a lot of anger over essentially, what right to life means. And of course, people say, well, you can't abort a baby. You have to abort a baby. Like both sides of that, but like that got switched to talking about an 11-month-old child who every single doctor who has checked him out has said there's literally no hope for this baby. He's essentially brain dead. He'll never be able to move his arm, never be able to move his legs. He's just there, like he's just a little body, and there's never going to be a person inside of it. Is essentially what all the doctors are saying, and it's bothersome to me that people are getting so angry about this and saying, well, you're going to be murdering a person again. From what the science, like from the aspect of science, this wasn't a person. He would never be a person. And I realize that's cruel and very mean of me to say that, but that's kind of goddamn. You know what? We cannot escape cruelty in this world. Apparently, Nick. Like there is nothing that is capable of rising above all of that. And yeah,
It's I of how to put this thing the subject to me because on the one hand in thought process in society that it's been disabled and through a variety of things like this and on the other hand where uh, dying is better than just dead and existing on the machine. Unfortunately, the baby here, and it's just a really sad situation.
it is. I mean, okay. I think probably for the best of all of us in our audience, we should probably just take a deep breath, move on for a little bit, because this has got to be the most depressing thing to ever talk about. So let's talk about some Comic Con stuff that happened. Like John Barrowman. Did you hear? Oh, by the way, speaking of which, John Barrowman, I want you to know, I'm glad you're doing better. For those who aren't aware, he had to have his appendix removed. Uh, Following Comic Con, he had apparently appendicitis. So there's an update from him from the hospital bed. He's doing fine, doing well. That said, Nick, are you aware of what the utterly irreplaceable John Barrowman had to say at Comic Con?
I don't think I am.
Do you want to know?
Go for it.
Okay, I want to start this off by saying I love John Barrowman. He is a very entertaining person. I appreciate everything he did on Doctor Who. And not being a man who is attracted to other men, John Barrowman is gorgeous. He also looks amazing in a dress. However, as awesome as John Barrowman is, and as much of a symbol that I know he's become to the LGBT community, and for those of you who are somehow not aware, he himself is married to a man because he's gay. He's quite gay. Um, John Barrowman decided at Comic Con to show up in a TARDIS dress, and again, he looks fantastic. He can carry off a dress better than most women I know, but um, he remarked that he is the transgender TARDIS, and I know we talked about Doctor Who the other day, and I basically said, it's fine to have a female doctor, and people need to quit worrying about, you know, God, I don't even want to say this, but the doctor's menstrual cycle, and how the TARDIS is going to react to that. And, that was when I said the TARDIS itself was female. Um, so apply that to John Barrowman, a homosexual man wearing a dress that's supposed to be the TARDIS, and he's saying he's transgender. And I I want to say I get what he was going for, but at the same time, this is not the first time John Barrowman has had this kind of fuck up, and I don't think it'll be the last time. And it's it really seems that he was doing, the look at me, I'm a crossdresser thing just to be a joke, and it's not fucking cool, man. It's not cool to do that. It's really not, especially with what happened this week. We kind of discussed this the other day because it's still an ongoing thing. It's only been 2 days, and holy shit, there is so much anger about it. And it's not as if there's a lot of people who are trans who cannot get the help they need. They can't afford the medication. They can't afford surgery, and they're bullied. And if not murdered, they commit suicide. It's not. It's just not fucking funny to me for him to have. I mean, like the first time, yeah, it was cute, whatever. One time it happens as an accident, and he was addressed about it. Haha, he was addressed. Get it? Whatever. Anyway, no, it was brought up to him, and he was told, please don't do this. It's hurtful. It's offensive, and he seemed kind of, responded, positively responded to it, and then he just fucking does it again. And John, damn it, just stop, stop. I mean, like it's one thing, to go to a convention and cosplay and gender flip, something like, a man that's 6 feet tall, muscular and hairy and dresses up with Sailor Moon. Like, that's fine, but don't fucking call yourself the transgender something, because that just, like, it's when you do something like that, it's kind of messed up. And again, as much as I love this man, I just, no, it's not cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's a big difference between portraying version of something and being cross-dressed and gendered version. Yeah, no.
See, like, okay, honestly, it to me, it would have been cuter if he had just said, "I'm the TARDIS." Like, that would have been fine, because everyone understands the TARDIS is female. Everyone understands the TARDIS is female, and then it goes from from that understanding to maybe some self-deprecation. I don't know, what position John Barrowman takes on the field, but that could have been, like some self-deprecating humor right there, like kind of making fun of himself, for what he enjoys, and that would have been fine. It would have been wonderful. Everyone would have laughed. There would have been no problem at all, because you're not applying a word that doesn't belong there, because what it comes across as is transgender means a gay man in a dress, and that's not what it is. That's so far removed from what it is, but it's just a direct play into what the average person seems to feel that being trans is. And this week is just, God, like, not even this week, the past 2 days has been wonderful for that. I guess wonderful is the right word. I don't even know at this point anymore.
I would not characterize it as wonderful.
Well, see, like it would be nice if it would be wonderful, but
It
I
would
mean,
be.
the reason I say wonderful, there is a reason I say wonderful, like a positive reason for once. Um, it's been brought up multiple times that um the immediate response, and I mean immediate. This was not something like the Women's March on Washington that took place the day after Inauguration Day, or people protesting in airports to Muslim travel bans and everything like that. This was an immediate response. Fucking immediately, people began responding to this, including my wonderfully talented, beautiful, intelligent friend Carla Lewis, who, for those of you who don't know, is a transgender activist, and Carla is a former veteran. In fact, you might have seen her in the meme on screen right now that says "Transgender Veteran." I fought for your right to hate me. Carla did. Carla is an Air Force veteran. Carla was discharged from service uh, after being in for quite a while, transitioned, and is now an activist. Now, what I think people are getting, hung up on here is, and by the way, Carla's been invited to our 100th episode. I don't know if she'll be here or not. I'm really hoping she can. Which, by the way, Monday, just again, we're gonna be 100 on Monday, so watch. We've invited some fairly amazing people. But anyway, more on point here. Uh, Carla, in like within 5 minutes of the announcement, was on Facebook, was on Twitter, was speaking her mind, and people responded, and it's just brilliant. And this is where my feelings come into play here. Um, I like my initial reaction to it, and we talked about this the other day, and I'm gonna keep bringing this up because it's important to bring it up. My initial reaction is that uh, the response that people have that there are trans military personnel is that it's comparable to the reaction to allowing black soldiers to fight in the Civil War, and then to allowing women to fight, and then allowing gay people to fight. Like it's going on and on and on. All this stupid bullshit. And the reality here is that we are talking about 250 people. That's it. There is an estimated 6 to 15,000 people in the entirety of the United States military, which, by the way, is 2 million people, give or take. That's all branches and all forms of reserves, as well as the Coast Guard combined. That's about 2 million people. There's an estimated it's somewhere between 6 and 15,000 members are trans, and the hangup is, and the ban supposedly is because of the expensive funding that uh, the tax, that would come out of the budget uh, for this, and the problem is again, there's 250 active members of the military who have applied for this. That's it. 250. The estimated cost for their therapy would be $30 a month per person uh, for hormone treatment, which is kind of based on the national average. So $30 a month, that's $320 a year. HRT tends to last 2 years, so you're looking at $640 per person. That's fucking cheap. Now you want to talk about gender reassignment surgery? You're looking at about $100,000 to $120,000 per person. It's a one-time thing. That's a one-time cost plus 2 years worth of treatment. It's estimated to not cost any more than $8 million. That's relatively cheap. There are houses that cost $8 million. That's not some big extravagant cost. But you compare that to a figure that came out that I just adore, and that's the cost of what we spend on Viagra. $84 million on Viagra. 10% of the prescriptions of which, thanks to the BBC for pointing this out, that goes to active military personnel. The rest goes to people who are retired from the military because the Veterans Administration is used, surprisingly, as basically a pharmacy for our veterans. And just let that 84 million sink in, because that's what we're talking about for one medication. There's, I don't even know how many millions of people who are retired military in the country, but it's a very large portion. And if they're all getting medications to the VA, which we all know they're not, then you're looking at a huge chunk of the military budget or the VA budget going to these people that are retired. They're no longer active, and that's fine. I am 100% in favor of old people getting getting an erection because they fought for the country. I'm fine with that. But the other, but the 10% of that that's going to active military personnel, um, is being prescribed as a treatment for PTSD. So automatically that makes sense. Someone who's been a lot of combat stress, they're having erectile dysfunction. They're trying to treat all these mental problems that they have, trying to sort it out, and they feel like they'll quote unquote be a man again, by being able to get a hard on. The problem is again, thanks to the BBC for pointing this out, it's not going to combat veterans. Like there's some that is, but the lion's share of that 10% is actually going to people who stayed at home. They have never seen combat. They've more than likely never done anything dangerous other than handle a gun in basic training. So these people are having an inability to obtain and then sustain an erection over stress from not having, like, from doing basically what I do every day, which is stay at home, watch YouTube videos, write angry things on the internet, and just normal everyday stuff. They've never left the country, never been never been deployed, probably never even left their home state, and they're having an inability. And people want to say that 250 people that are looking for $8 million worth of treatment for something that the World Health Organization currently classifies as a mental disorder, and the American Medical Association classifies as a mental disorder. The treatment for that is to give them the medication, allow them gender reassignment surgery, and then they'll be fine. But they're worried that these people are going to freak out under fire, and they're going to start crying, and they're going to get their period, and they're going to bleed everywhere. But here you have people who have never done anything while in the military that somehow have stress-induced PTSD, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine because they're not transgender. It certainly seems as if the only modifier here is that someone wants to have gender reassignment surgery. Well, that's viewed as an elective. It's not a fucking elective, and I'm sorry if you can't get your dick hard, but it seems to me that that might also be an elective treatment. And I realize that erectile dysfunction is tied to a lot of things, especially heart problems. But you know, getting an erection isn't the same as trying to correct a chemical imbalance in your brain that says that you are the right gender in the wrong body. Those are two different things, and I just think that someone should have a little bit more compassion towards those who have an actual need versus someone who's like, well, I couldn't fuck my girlfriend last night. Okay, then, cuckolding is a thing. Quit, it's time to be a literal cuck here and just go for it. Have someone fuck your girlfriend. Learn to eat her out, whatever. I don't give a good goddamn what's going on. I don't really give a shit, but it pisses me off that that's the reaction. And ultimately, I gotta say one thing, and this is gonna be the last thing I'm gonna say about this for now, because we all know I'm gonna say something later. But the last thing I want to say is that people in the military fucking fought for their right. It didn't matter whether they went overseas. It didn't matter whether they stayed at home. It's the fact that they volunteered. They were accepting a service. They deserve whatever help we can give them.
to me, it's really similar to the arguments about birth control, medicine to women, or just weird argument to me. And we're okay with funding Viagra, but not other treatments and things.
It just bothers me that people are getting so uptight about this, and it's like, well, we can't allow them in service. And like, there's people that are even claiming that this is actually an act of mercy, because because these people can't even decide, you know, like they're not even okay with themselves, and they're like their suicide rate's the highest in the world, and here it is you're wanting to send them off to die for you. Like, liberals are really mean. That's a literal reaction I've seen to this, and I gotta say something. People crack under pressure all the time. I mentioned the other day, about Elmo Haney. He cracked. Stonewall Jackson cracked. The two soldiers that were slapped by George Patton during World War II, they cracked. These are people who were not men in a dress. They weren't transgender. They weren't homosexual. They just cracked because stress got to them. Just like the people who are getting PTSD treatment for having done nothing. They cracked. Stress is a thing. It happens. It happens to a lot of people. It happens very often. And it is stupid to me to say that these people don't need to be in the military just because you think that they're not going to be able to handle it. And like, what really bothers me about that is that a big chunk of that reaction is because, have you seen what they say on Tumblr? Yeah, because what Tumblr says is apparently the reality of the world. What the fuck ever.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's anyway. That's what happened at Comic Con. Like the thing that had to take place for whatever, like I don't know, the concerns from Comic Con evidently that I had. But there's some other cool shit that happened. So,
like what?
well, there's going to be all the kinds of wonderful new programs coming out. All the let's see, where do we want to begin? How about the trailer that was released? I think yesterday-ish. It was supposed to have been a Comic Con trailer. It wasn't. I don't know why it wasn't, but anyway, the trailer for It has been released. The new one, like the full one. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it. No, I haven't seen the new one yet.
Well, shit. Okay, this is coming out in September, and I gotta say, it's not scary. It's not scary. I mean, we're getting to see more of Pennywise. That's great. That's wonderful. But there is still some. God damn it! Somehow, someone decided, and I wish I still had the screenshot of this, to where he looked like a fucking retard. Anyway, sorry to use that word, but it's a scene where, like, it's supposed to be frightening, and the first time you actually see Pennywise's face show up in this little sequence, he's got this stupid grin. It looks like his face is like his head is 3 times larger. Like, he looks like a fucking elephant man. Okay, he looks stupid. And then there's the scene where he's in a sewer and he's running at the kids and it's all jittery. And he's like, like that. Come on, goddammit. Come on. Just fuck. Look, I get that everything has to be remade. Everything's got to be entertaining. It's got to be wonderful and fun. And I have literally no desire to see this. And I love Stephen King's It. I love it. Okay, like I love it. And there was uh some discussion about it at Comic Con because this is again supposed to have been a Comic Con trailer. No one ever talked about it or ever really sent a bunch of stuff about it, but it was apparently shown there. I don't know. I can't find where it was, but like there's differing opinions. Apparently, this was shown at Comic Con, and people took photographs and little like quick videos and everything and whatever. I don't fucking know. Like, if this is supposed to be something entertaining and wonderful, then I just don't see it. It's not scary. Like it's dependent on jump scares and stupidity, and Tim Curry is Pennywise. He'll always be Pennywise. And no, I just I know we don't usually recommend or don't recommend things on the show, Nick, but I don't want to recommend this. Like I don't even think I would watch this shit. Like you couldn't even pay me to watch it.
I might watch it out of just to see what they do with it, but I'm not excited. I haven't been excited by anything I've seen so far. I still have to watch the trailer, but I'm excited for it.
It's I don't know what to think about it, but I do kind of know that something I do kind of have positive thoughts about. At the same time, I don't have positive thoughts about is something else from Comic Con that's been waited for a long, long time. Star Trek Discovery. If y'all watch, by the way, most of the things we're going to be talking about, if you go to our Facebook page, we have the trailers posted. So there you go. Because all the like everything that, from Comic Con that we can get our hands on gets posted. Except for the one big thing that we discussed. You know, the one Marvel movie everyone's waiting for that Marvel has continually said "fuck you" to the fans over. Anyway, Star Trek Discovery. Um, the initial reaction to this is apparently, "Oh my God, it's a woman. How could they have a woman? It's gonna be a captain of a starship. We can't have women in starships. And the first officer's a woman too? Oh no, who gives a shit? Fuck off. Fuck off." Because one of the most popular captains in Star Trek history is, of course, Catherine Janeway, who just happens to be a woman. I don't know.
And I personally love Voyager.
Voyager is amazing. And, like, I have a really difficult time saying. Now, this is no disrespect to the original series or Enterprise or the Next Generation, because I love all of those. But I, for the longest time, had to try and rationalize whether I liked Deep Space Nine better or whether I liked Voyager better. And a lot of people sided with Voyager because Voyager has got Catherine Janeway, and that's literally the only reason they go with it. But I tend to say Deep Space Nine because, hello, I like political things. You know, like I like things that involve military conflict, and Deep Space Nine is all about that. It's like the Dominion War story arc is one of the best things I've ever seen on television. I loved it. I like Deep Space
I
Nine for that.
I really I prefer Voyager because it's more in line with the story of exploration. Lost and no clue where they were. So to me, it's kind of the ultimate Star Trek story.
It is cool for that. Like, don't get me wrong. I love Voyager for that aspect. But then again, I'm the same person who, when watching the Star Wars prequels, was really excited to see the Galactic Senate. That said, I do not know about Star Trek Discovery. Um, it seems to me as if it's one of those J.J. Abrams movies where there's lens flares everywhere, and if you watch the trailer, there's lens flares everywhere, and just the more I think about watching this, the it. Don't get me wrong, I like the Star Trek reboot movies. I think they're great. I just don't know what universe this is supposed to be set in. You know what I mean? Like, uh, like Star Trek Enterprise. Everyone hates on Enterprise. I didn't. I enjoyed it. I would recommend it to anybody, mostly because there is a moment about halfway through the series where the Enterprise gets in a dogfight with some Nazis. Yeah, that happened. That fucking happened. Watch it. It's canon. Anyway, my thing, like my big thing with Discovery here is it just looks like it's J.J. Abrams jizz rag. Like I don't want to say that phrase, but it looks like this is what's left of him having created, the Star Trek reboots. It's like this is what we're getting. Like this is the leftovers, and it's all lens flares. It's all action sequences and stuff like that. And like you said, Star Trek is about exploration, and even with Deep Space Nine, like even me having said that I like the political and military aspect of Deep Space Nine, there was still fucking exploration there because you're opening up a whole other quadrant. You had the wormhole. You could go there. You could discover like the Gem Hadar. That was brilliant. All these things. Like there was still discovery, even though it takes place on a space station that doesn't really ever move. And I just look at the trailer and all the stuff for Discovery, and I just don't feel the Star Trek magic. You know what I mean?
I really feel like it's the trailer is designed for fans. It did not look like a Star Trek trailer at all. Even the newer movies had the Star Trek feel to it. I didn't get that feel at all from this. Now maybe it's just the trailer will be a little different, but the trailer is just horrible if you're a Star Trek fan.
It is. And see, here's the thing: the teaser trailer, where you initially see the Discovery, that shit got me excited. That was well done. Now, granted, that's only just a few glimpses of the ship, like the saucer section. Like it's like you're seeing like a flyby of the ship when you're expecting it. That was brilliantly done. That got me excited. Like there's a hope here. This ship is the newest thing. It's the best thing. It's the fastest thing Starfleet's got. It's about to go out and discover things. It's going to live up to its name. I'll be excited. And then you see between the teaser and this one, they've actually completely redesigned the ship. I mean, it's still the same basic shape, and you can tell it's supposed to be, like an ancestor of NX-01 Enterprise, some Star Trek Enterprise. But they had this big hollow ring in the saucer, and people are like wondering, well, why does it have that? What's the purpose for that? And literally, the only explanation I can think of is because if you're on a ship that's got external windows, but there's no point of reference for you outside, you don't know where you are on the ship, and maybe that's what they're doing with this, and that's cool and all. Like it manages to make the ship look larger in a way, I guess, than what it is. Because you get points of reference other than blackness and stars. But at the same time, nothing else about this seems positive. It just like even the uniforms they're wearing on this don't seem to fit in with anything else in Star Trek. Like, I mean, look at Enterprise uniforms. They look like a uniform you would see in the Navy. Like it's, a pair of coveralls. Like that's fine. It's wonderful. The original series, the original series uniforms were whatever. That's fine. I'm not going to nitpick that one. But you can see how they influenced later ones, like the movies. And I'm not talking about Star Trek: The Motion Picture where they had the weird bodysuits. I mean like the Starfleet uniforms, like like the red wool jacket and the black pants, and then you have the Next Generation, which keeps that same look, but it's kind of in line with the original series. Like it fucking influences everything else about itself. And then you have these and the side panels, underneath the arm all the way down to the waist. They're interlinked golden chevrons, and they're tight fitting bodysuits, and it it looks like it's out of, again, a J.J. Abrams movie, and that's all fine and dandy for CBS to be doing that because you want that recognition there. Like and the reboots picked up some new Star Trek fans. I will give them that. It became an action movie, and people went to go see it because of that, and that's wonderful. And I think that that's where that comes into play, is that it's just a tie-in to get people to watch the show, and that didn't work for me.
It really does look like they're just trying to latch onto the action aspect. Um, which, I mean, to an extent, I did enjoy it. To an extent, I've kind of been based sometimes. But I get it. I get why they do it. I get why they did it. This feels like it's too much. It really does.
You know what doesn't feel like too much?
What's that?
Marvel's The Defenders, because that got a Comic Con change too. And here's the thing: I have still, and I will most likely only see Daredevil, the series, out of this. But the more universe building that they're doing with this, like the more I'm interested in watching it. For those of you, like, again, not going to show it like show the trailer, but it is on our Facebook page if you want to watch it. There is, this is spoiler alert here. There's a clip that, like, it's a teaser trailer for the Defenders, but at the very end of it, there's a teaser for the Punisher. Like it's maybe like 5 or 6 seconds long, and the Punisher's walking down a hallway, and he's like, something like, uh, "I got here just in time." God damn it, it's brilliant. I am so excited for the small screen Marvel universe as much as I am the big screen. And I as much as I hate most of the characterizations on the Netflix series, except for Daredevil, it's perfect. I just I'm excited for it. Damn it!
Well, I and after the trailer, but my favorite moment was seeing the Punisher. I can't remember if it was in that specific trailer or where, but there was a clip of the Punisher showing up, and I was yes, yes.
It's that one. I mean, it's honestly, Netflix could do away with everyone else, Jessica Jones, everyone else, just go away, get rid of them, and keep Daredevil and Punisher. I would watch it. I would get a Netflix subscription just for that because they're brilliantly done. Like, they're really good. And those of you who still haven't watched it yet, borrow a friend's Netflix. Nick, can I borrow yours? Or get your own. And like all the episodes will be available at one time. It's gonna be, I think, September when it comes out. Watch it, damn it. Watch it and enjoy it. And speaking of watching and enjoying things, I don't want to go on a tangent about Marvel, but I will. So we're going to move on. Something else we're going to watch and enjoy. Something I didn't particularly like at the time it came out, but I'm still excited for the new one, and that is Pacific Rim 2.
I I have mixed feelings about this. I really didn't like the trailer, but I still have world that this will be really good, and I for the trailers for the first movie. Honestly, I really was shocked by it when I saw it, and I personally think it's one of the most underrated things that have come out in years. So
It is.
I'm super excited for it, despite the trailer.
And see, the first time I watched Pacific Rim, I didn't like it. I will freely admit I didn't like it. It just to me it seemed like it was trying to reference everything else. Like giant robots and giant monsters, and usually if I want giant robots and giant monsters, I look to Japan for that because they're kind of awesome. Like that's their thing. But uh, it seemed like it's like it was ripping off of Transformers and Gundam and everything else, and in a way it is. But the second and third, fourth, fifth times, because I've watched it numerous times, that I've gone back and watched Pacific Rim, and the more that I've read up on how Guillermo del Toro came to his decision to do this movie, the more I have grown to have an appreciation for it. And the more I actually respect it. Now, I still think it's kind of stupid in certain ways, but
Oh,
that's
it's definitely stupid in a lot of ways. But it's one of those things where you just have to stupidity.
most of the stupidity issues I have is uh, Idris Elba has cancer. Like, oh, he gets he gets a bloody nose. Oh no, what's going on? He has cancer. Gonna die. Haha, get it. Anyway, the human interactions are forced. They're really really forced, and that's where the stupidity lies. Is the people. Take the people out. It's perfect. It's beautiful. It's amazing. Um, that's kind of what concerns me for the second one is that we're gonna have people in it. A lot of people. God damn it! Why do we have to have people? Including John Boyega, who is going to be doing something other than trying to hold Ridley's hand. But he's apparently recovered from his injuries. Star Wars, that's coming out too. We didn't get a trailer for that, though. That's what bothers me a lot, like the most, is there was
I'm
no
not.
Star Trek, fuck me, Star Wars trailer. There was almost no mention of it. But we're getting this, and yeah, the trailer for this is stupid. It's like it's it's clinical compared to to the world that you're supposed to live in with the Jaegers and the kaiju, where like it's all dark and gritty, and there's there's literally no one clean. Like it seems almost if you watch the movie that you'd walk up to someone and think, God damn, when's the last time you had a bath? Because they're all dirty. You know, that's fine. It's cool. But the trailer is like I said, it's almost like it was made in a hospital. Like it's a hospital inside of a hospital, and that hospital is wrapped in a bubble. Like all of it's wrapped in a bubble, and it's filled with antibacterial shit. And it is so removed from the concept of giant robots with nuclear powered engines that fight giant monsters from another dimension. It's unreal. And like I get that they did that because they don't want to show anything off, and that's cool. But at the same time, talking about a giant robot fighting giant monster movie that's now going to be a franchise, I fucking want to see the robots and the monsters. I want to see it. I really do. Damn it, damn it, damn it, Pacific Rim. Why'd you do this to me? Like, why are we in in this dependent relationship type thing now? You know,
To me, it
why?
reminds me a lot of Power Rangers. Not nearly as bad as
And
much
see,
as we
that's the
both
thing.
love
That
Power
was the
Rangers.
that was one of the inspirations that Guillermo del Toro had. Like he looked like, and the thing is, he's a Gundam fan. Uh, so like he looked at Gundam and he looked at Power Rangers and like not just Power Rangers, but like the whole Sentai series, Ultraman and stuff like that. Hell, even Guyver. Like there's some influences from fucking Guyver in this. Transformers, obviously, like all these giant robot things, and he looked at Godzilla and all the monster movies, and he's like, you know what, fuck it, combine them together, and it's brilliant. And with now again, I know that makes me sound like a dork to say that, but just
Well,
on the
I
first
don't
watch,
care.
I do it.
I think this is one thing where it's like I don't care. I don't care if I'm a dork. I don't care if I'm a nerd. There are
Yeah,
giant robots fighting really giant monsters, and
and it's cool.
I'm
It's
cool with that.
cool. It's just like I said on the first viewing, I didn't get it. I just I wasn't sold on it. But then third, fourth, fifth viewing, I realized, hey, this is actually kind of awesome because I grew to have a better understanding of what Guillermo del Toro was going for, and that worked for me, and I was excited for it. And I kind of wish that everyone else would have the same reaction to another Netflix thing that we've discussed before a little bit. But now that we have a trailer for it out, I kind of wish everyone would just pause and realize that Death Note is going to be amazing.
I'm, I'm still on the fence. I need to see it because trailers can be so misleading. I'm really
They
trying not to get excited
they can be,
or
but here's the
down.
thing. But here's the thing. Netflix has put out their trailers for it. Okay, we had like the first time we discussed this. That was the actual trailer. Their Comic Con trailer was not a trailer. There was no coming soon type thing. Like this is not something that you're going to see to get you excited for it. And it's going to have like a date it's coming out. No, this was like a 2.5 minute long clip from the show, the movie. It's going to be a movie, okay? And I've really got to say, the characterization of Ryuk in this, the only possible reaction I can have to that is that Ryuk is a
Fucking monster!
that's the like it's brilliant. I'm sorry. I had to bring up the sound clip, but that's all that I get. And here's the thing: if you go back and watch Death Note, the series, or you read the manga, you realize that the majority of what Light does is him doing it, and in this, Ryuk basically pushes him into doing like rather than Ryuk showing up and saying, "I was bored after like 5 days of Light having had the notebook and having written down hundreds of names." Like, just keep that in mind. In the manga and the anime, Light writes down a lot of fucking names, and then Rick shows up like he waited nearly a week before he makes his appearance, and he shows up. In this, the way it seems to be portrayed, they're condensing everything. So it seems as like my guess is that Rick shows up that day, maybe the next day. But the reason I say that day is because when you see Light write a name in the notebook, there doesn't seem to be anything else there. But Rick definitely pushes him towards actually using the notebook, and you see in the clip, you know, he tells him you can solve a problem, just write someone's name down. And so, you know, like Light just kind of goes along, it's brilliantly done to me. Like this is what makes me want to see it so bad. This is why I think it's gonna be so good. Um, because at first when you see it, you know, Light's in what I guess is a classroom, whatever, and the apple core gets thrown at him, and he freaks the fuck out for a second, jumps up, and he's like, "Relax, relax," and starts slapping himself. It's a dream. It's all a dream. And then the voice. God damn it, the voice comes out of nowhere. And it's like, oh yes, a dream. And he just turns around, and the next time you see Light's face, his eyes are like his eyelids are up to the edge of his sockets. He's just staring at this thing that moments before he called an 8 foot tall demon looking motherfucker, and here it is. He's looking at it face to face, and there is like it is emoted so well. There is legitimate fucking fear in this man's face, looking at this creature. And Rhea tells him, you know, hey, there's some noise outside. Let's go see what it is. And it's kind of a recreation of the scene from the first episode where the woman was basically about to be raped in the middle of a street by a bunch of bikers, because that would happen. Whatever. Like it. Because I'm sorry, but that's like some of the things in the series and the manga are silly, and that's one of them. She's being raped in the middle of a street, whatever. Uh, but in this, it's one of his classmates at school, and she's being bullied, and you're led to believe that, you know, the main one bullying her, whose counterpart in the series is the guy who was actually going to do the raping, who gets hit by a truck. By the way, in this, you're given the understanding that he's been doing some bad things for a while, and so, you know, like he's evidently picked on Light, and Rick is aware of this, and he's like, just solve the problem. You can rescue her. And it's like, and Light's, well, how? It's like, just write a name down. You know, and Light's like, I don't have a pen. Rick just instantaneously hands him a pen. So Light writes the kid's name down, you know, and he kind of looks out the window for like a brief second, and Rick said, that's not all that there is. There's more, you know, and Light's like, what's left? And Rick just says, how? And so, you know, Light looks back at it, and he writes the word decapitation by this kid's name, and then Rick's like, that's pretty good for a beginner. Now watch. And then it's them looking out the window, like you know Rick's watching as well, but you just watch Light look out the window, and that's where it cuts off. Like I just fucking described to you what everyone got to see at Comic Con. What's on our Facebook page? It's on YouTube. Holy shit! Like it actually builds suspense. It gets me excited because I'm sorry, but the whole 5 day waiting period, and Light is apparently this internally hateful individual who is enacting his own version of justice on people for no goddamn reason. Like, there's literally no reason given. I mean, this kid has got a mother who bends over backwards for him. He is the best student in school in all of Japan. Like he's just a pretty rich boy And it's like, well, what possible troubles could he have? When has anyone ever bullied him? Like, he's God's gift to mankind, you know? And it didn't make sense. Like there's, and I realize that that's probably just a lack of a build up to this, because within like the first 10 minutes he finds the notebook. But the concept to me of him writing hundreds of names down within 5 days because he saw someone on TV and decided they needed to die, and then he sees a woman about to be raped again in the middle of a street in public with people around, that's stupid to me. And like there's all these little points in there where it's just like, oh look, he's really a bad guy. It's not really the death god that's the bad person. It's him. Light's terrible, and you're not supposed to like him because whatever. Like it doesn't work for me in that aspect. But you put it in this where Rick kind of pushes him, and it's like Rick is seeing there's a natural tendency here to want to do something, and he's like, here, this would be, and it does it without the primary motivation being given of why Rick even dropped his note to begin with. And I promise I'm going to finish this rant in a moment. But the motivation, again, like that's given in every version of it before, is that he was fucking bored and he wants to watch people kill one another, and that's why he drops the notebook, and Light finds it, and like in this makes much more sense. He's like, you know what? I'm bored. I'm gonna have a new toy, and he makes Light the new toy, and he gives him, the notebook and a pen, and he's like, here, write a name down, kill somebody, and it sells it so hard to me that I I really want to watch it because it makes much more sense with this version of it.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the trailer was really good at drawing people in. Um I really liked how they showed how enticing it was to write a name down, uh, and try to deliver justice to someone. Uh, it's still something I'm really on the fence about. To wait to watch and see it myself. There, there's just so much here that can go right or wrong, and it, it it's just something I have to wait to see.
But like, I totally understand the hesitation, and almost everyone I've spoken to about this has the same concern. They're going to Americanize it, just like that very impassioned rant I did several episodes back about it when we first
Yeah,
talked about this.
that's not really my main concern.
I know, but see, here's the thing. That's still a concern. They're going to Americanize it. No, god damn it, let them Americanize it. Okay, this is, and there's a reason I'm saying this, an actual reason. If you don't want to hear this, I'm sorry, but when you think of the country that's got the most mass killers, the ones, like we had the most school shootings, that's us. That's America. It's the United States. Okay? Uh, you're talking about a, a privileged white guy who's going to kill people. Who else to look at for that other than America? Let it happen. Just watch it and love it. Like my thing is, if this is terrible, I'll admit it after I get done watching. I will be more than happy to just tell the entire world what I think about it after it's over with. But right now, this has got me excited, and I understand everyone's hesitant about it. But at the same time, there was that same hesitation over Ghost in the Shell, which I haven't watched it yet. I'm not particularly interested to watch. It's not that I don't want to. I will eventually, but it was the same argument made for Ghost in the Shell, and everyone I know who's watched it has loved it. Like they've loved the way it was done in the movie, And the entire time I'm like, well, you do realize that this is what was like, this is almost word for word copy of what was done in the animated movie, the original one. They're like, well, I haven't seen it. Here's my copy. Watch it, and like, oh yeah, it is the same thing. Now it's kind of updated, like, but there's a few tweaks here and there, but it's essentially the exact same story you see in the original movie, and that's why I don't really want to watch it. Like it being a live action version of something that I have loved for a couple decades now in animated form. That just it's one of those things that didn't work for me. But here with Death Note, as much as I liked it in the animated version, I'm really excited to see it as live action. And I like the fact that just this one tweak in this one scene gives me so much hope for it. Trying to end on a positive note today, Nick. Damn it, let me do it.
I am kind of excited for Death Note. Watch the Ghost in the Shell movie, but from what I've heard, uh, I haven't heard very good things about it. So
Well, you hear good
looks
things from me, so that's all you need to hear is good things from me. And speaking of good things from me, last episode I challenged you, so I'm gonna repeat the challenge. Hearthstone Match of the Century of the Week, Volume 2, more corn. This time will be different. It's gonna be a thing, and I'm gonna beat Nick.
I if you beat me,
You get it?
then
You get it?
the sky is gonna fall.
You get it? I'm gonna beat Nick. I'm gonna beat Nick. Come on, damn it! That was a good joke.
That was bad, and you should feel bad.
No, that was a good joke.
But
Like
yeah,
it's
I'm actually really excited to see how badly I can beat you.
how badly you can beat me.
Yes,
Don't you mean how well?
I mean it's going to be ugly where people watching will abuse for abuse.
That's fine. That's fine. But no, like it's gonna be. I mean, I think we need to have a regular, like at least once a year, Hearthstone match, the Centric of the week. You know, like so we're gonna have volume 2. Like if I knew of a way to do it with Overwatch, we could do an Overwatch. No, you know what. Not gonna touch Overwatch because we all know that I would have to go for Doomfist and I would have to beat you up with Doomfist.
That would be interesting.
Speaking of which, Doomfist is in the game. Yay! I don't play Overwatch. I can't. I don't even know why I'm excited for it.
Trailer.
But yeah. Anyway, that I think is going to be it for today, Nick.
That's that sounds like it.
Do you have any fond memories you'd like to share of the past 99 episodes? Because Monday. Oh boy, Monday.
When basically you admitted I was right about everything I've ever said. Never.
That has never happened. I will never admit you're right. But yeah, Monday. Unless something happens and we can't get it worked out for Monday, just kind of off the top of my head, people that have been invited. I know I mentioned Carter Lewis, but we've also invited Pimp Monk X from YouTube, that sketchy guy, let's see, that sketchy guy, Galen Halcyon, Dev Shell. A bunch of people have been invited to be on. I even reached out to Kitty, and we're gonna try and get her on. She's got some stuff she's working on, so hopefully we'll have a bunch of people on our 100th episode, and I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all now. There's gonna be a new intro for the show just for this one. Not gonna tell anyone what it is, but I've been working on it. It's gonna be good. Uh, Trying to update everything just for this one show, and then we're gonna be back to the normal format. So yeah, if you've watched and listened all the way through, which I know everyone has, why wouldn't they? If you have any topics you want us to go over, let us know because we've still got, see, Saturday and Sunday. We got about 3 days to figure something out. So yeah, goddamn, Nick, this is the end of episode 99. Our next one, we're going to be at episode 100.
Let's wait till we hit 1,000.
I know it's exciting. Now, see, now, like the one thing I want to kind of mention is we should have already been to 100. Like we probably should have been at 200 by now. But as most of y'all know, we kind of took a break for various reasons. So we're definitely behind, but we're gonna catch up. I promise we're gonna catch up. Anyway, that said, please remember to like this video, comment on it, share it, subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, go to our Patreon page and please give us your money. Tweet at me, and you know what? I am not going to say like us on Twitch for whatever reason because it's most likely that the Hearthstone match Century of the Week Volume 2 More Corn this time will be different. That is a mouthful, but it is more likely that that'll be on there. Like we'll probably do it on Twitch live. So yeah.
Sounds like a plan.
It is a plan. It's still a plan. Also, please check out the Warcraft video I did the other day by myself. The one where I go to Goldshire. It's Adventures Goldshire or something like that. Have some fun with that one, because I had fun with the idea, and then I got about halfway through filming it. I'm like, God damn it, why am I doing this?
What about that?
But yeah, there's gonna be more Warcraft or video game stuff up eventually. That will not be part of the show, which is weird because like most of what we upload to YouTube is stuff of the show. But yeah, but we're gonna have some more stuff. We're gonna branch out a little bit, I think. Probably gonna have more stuff on Twitch. Maybe at some point in time we could have like a Q&A. I don't know, Nick, but I do know that this is the end for episode 99, and it's. I know that seems so arbitrary to some people. It's like, well, it's 99. Who gives a shit? Okay, it'll be episode 100. Like we had the same thing with 25, and then there was episode 50, Queen Quaginta, which is 50 in Latin. Yeah, like it's a milestone. We're going to be reaching 100 episodes on Monday, and I gotta say, Nick, it's been fun.
It really has been.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get more sentimental. Fuck off. You should have known that was coming. Anyway, have a good weekend, everybody. We will talk to all of you Monday on episode 100 of Radio Tokyo.
Bye, everyone. Have a great weekend.
Bye, everybody.